An unprecedented catastrophe. China is grappling with a harrowing environmental disaster as ferocious wildfires rage across multiple regions, threatening major cities, forcing tens of thousands to flee their homes and overwhelming emergency services. From industrial hubs to tranquil rural landscapes, the flames spare nothing, turning vast swaths of the country into battlegrounds of smoke and fire. Authorities are racing against time to contain the crisis as the nation plunges into a state of high alert. A nation engulfed in flames. The wildfires have spread relentlessly, from Hebei province in the north, a hub of industrial activity, to bustling urban centers like Chongqing and Chengdu in the southwest. Even the outskirts of Beijing and Guangzhou are shrouded in thick smoke as flames encroach on densely populated residential areas. Over 40 major fires have been reported across 10 provinces, with the most severe situations concentrated in Sichuan, Yunnan, Hunan, and Guangdong. Estimates suggest that approximately 620,000 hectares of forests, farmland, and urban land have been incinerated, destroying homes, infrastructure, and severely degrading air quality. In Chongqing, a sprawling metropolis of over 30 million people, suburban districts are enduring rolling power outages and water shortages due to damaged electrical grids and water systems. In Chengdu, temperatures exceeding 43 degrees Celsius, 109 degrees Fahrenheit, combined with dry winds, have accelerated the fire's spread, threatening nearby communities. Beijing, though not directly engulfed, is suffocating under a massive plume of smoke drifting from neighboring Hebei and Shaanxi provinces. The capital's air quality index has reached hazardous levels, prompting authorities to urge residents to stay indoors and wear protective masks. Volunteers have been deployed nationwide. However, the sheer scale and rapid spread of the fires have made containment efforts extraordinarily challenging. The Ministry of Emergency Management has declared the highest alert level, Level 1, in 3 of the hardest-hit provinces and is urging residents in affected areas to comply with evacuation orders immediately. Local firefighting units are working around the clock, but in many areas the flames are too intense to be subdued. Major transportation routes, including highways and railways, have been shut down as fires spread, disrupting supply chains and isolating entire communities. In Chongqing, helicopters have been deployed to drop fire-retardant chemicals over burning industrial zones, while residents struggle to secure clean air, food, and drinking water. In Chengdu, extreme heat and strong winds continue to hamper firefighting efforts. Schools have been closed and hospitals are reporting a surge in respiratory illnesses, particularly among children and the elderly. In Beijing, dense smoke has obscured the city's skyline, transforming its iconic vistas into an eerie apocalyptic scene. Experts are still investigating the precise causes of the fires, but preliminary reports point to a combination of factors. Extreme heat, prolonged drought, and illegal land clearing activities are believed to have created the conditions for the fires to ignite. Satellite imagery reveals that several fires broke out almost simultaneously, raising suspicions of arson or gross negligence. The Chinese government has pledged to conduct a thorough investigation once the immediate crisis subsides. President Xi Jinping has described the disaster as a top national priority, and has ordered all agencies to work in unison to minimize loss of life and property. Meanwhile, state media outlets are providing hourly updates, broadcasting harrowing footage of burning hillsides, collapsing buildings, and courageous rescue operations. On social media, viral videos depict the chaos: families fleeing with whatever possessions they can carry, vehicles ablaze on city streets, and exhausted firefighters collapsing from fatigue. These images not only highlight the scale of the disaster, but also underscore the resilience of those battling flames. Environmental scientists emphasize that climate change is exacerbating China's wildfires. In recent years, the country's fire season has grown longer and more destructive, with fires igniting earlier than typical weather patterns would suggest. Forests, stressed by drought and high temperatures, have become tinderboxes, while dry winds accelerate the flames' spread. The Chinese Academy of Sciences warns that this disaster could be the worst environmental event in over 2 decades. International observers have echoed these concerns. The United Nations has offered assistance, while neighboring countries, including Russia and South Korea, have extended aid in the form of firefighting aircraft and medical supplies. Despite the tireless efforts of firefighting crews, they face unprecedented challenges. In many areas, the fires are simply too large to be contained using conventional methods. Teams are employing drones to map fire zones and create fire breaks, but harsh weather conditions, arid and windy, are expected to persist for at least another week, dimming hopes of swift containment. Temporary shelters are overwhelmed, with thousands of evacuees crammed into cramped spaces, facing shortages of food, water, and medical supplies. Local authorities are scrambling to distribute essentials, while nearby cities have opened public buildings to accommodate the displaced. However, with the number of evacuees rising, the demand for aid is outpacing supply. The wildfires are not only causing immediate devastation, but also promising long-lasting repercussions. Millions of hectares of farmland and forests have been destroyed, threatening food security and the livelihoods of countless communities. Affected urban areas will face enormous rebuilding costs, from infrastructure to housing. The severe decline in air quality is also likely to lead to public health issues, particularly in densely populated regions. Economic analysts warn that the disaster could disrupt global supply chains, especially in industries reliant on manufacturing hubs in Hebei and Guangdong. Additionally, transportation disruptions and power outages in major cities like Chongqing and Chengdu could trigger cascading effects on the national economy. In the face of this catastrophe, Chinese authorities have called for national unity, urging citizens to donate essential supplies and support rescue efforts. Numerous non-governmental organizations and volunteers have stepped up, providing food, clothing, and temporary shelter for those who have lost their homes. Yet, with unfavorable weather forecasts and the fire still uncontained, the struggle remains daunting. As the flames continue to ravage cities and countryside alike, China faces a historic challenge. Thousands of firefighters, soldiers, and volunteers are risking their lives to protect communities, while millions of citizens grapple with loss and uncertainty. Though the fight may be prolonged, the resilience of the Chinese people offers a glimmer of hope in these dark times. Recovery will demand time, resources, and global cooperation. As the world watches, the pressing question remains: can China overcome this catastrophe and rebuild from the ashes? Only time will tell.